Just keep it coming. Okay. Okay, so before we dive in, let me introduce myself. I'm Enoch, and today I'll just be welcoming us. So ensure that your audio is connected, your microphone is muted, and you can also turn on a video. But before that, let's just um, connect with each of you in the chat. Just mention your name and where you are joining from. And let's do that in like next 3 to 5 minutes. So let's go. Just your name and where you are joining from. Oh yeah. So let's go. So for those that are just joining now, we are welcoming you. Make sure your audio is connected, your mic is muted, and you can feel free to turn on your video. Yes, you can also drop your name and where you are joining from in the chat box. So I have to check the name so you could join. Oh, Chandra from Zambia, you're welcome. Godfrey from Uganda, Moyo from Malawi, Gideon from Nigeria, welcome, welcome. So let's keep it coming. We have like 2 minutes to go. Welcome. So just your name and where you are joining from in the chat box.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Hello?
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please, you
Yes.
can mute your mic so that we'll be able to.
Yes. Good evening, good morning to everybody here. My name is Joris from Burundi.
Oh, wow, you're welcome. You can just put your name and where you're joining from in the chat box. We would like you to mute your mic too.
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Joris Bigiriman. I'm from Burundi.
Yes, you're welcome, Mr. Joining. I said you can put your name and where you're joining from in the chat box so that we don't have issues with the audio. Just mute your mic. Do you get? Thank you so much. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. I'm so glad to have you. Lawa from Zamfara, you're welcome. So now we'll be moving to the brief introduction to Green Growth Africa and what the webinar series is all about. So I would call on Tony Ogubanjo from Green Growth Africa.
All right. Thank you so much, Enoch. Hello, everyone. It is a very good pleasure to be here with you all and to be part of this very timely discussion. And so, like we all know, like he said earlier about reintroduced myself. My name is Oluwatoni Ogubanjo, and I'm the lead communication specialist at Green Growth TV. And as we know, this webinar is being hosted by Green Growth Africa, which is a UNEP accredited organization that is committed to pushing for sustainable development and environmental justice across Africa. We have about 10,000 green growth actors across the Africa network. We have trained about 10,000 people. And then through our Green Growth TV platform, we've been able to reach about 8 million people. We engage a lot of CSOs on our programs, and that has gained a reach of about 180,000 plus views, which is, in essence, building some eco-conscious viewers. And then we have also about 15,000 youths that are, very indigenous people, and they've been able to make impact in their various communities. And we've also won the Excellence Prize in eSTEM 2022. So that's just a little bit of summary about what Green Grow Africa is all about. But now to the webinar. As we all know, the climate crisis is escalating, and we have a lot of African civil society organizations that are at the forefront of this issue, always trying to meet the needs of the people in various communities that are mostly impacted. So the essence of this webinar is to be able to build technical and institutional capacity for this civil society organizations across Africa, particularly in the green growth and climate sectors. And we also ensure that we're leading, the change in this program. And we do that in partnership with WWF and CEDA. So some of our objectives, as you can see on the screen, is to enhance, each and every one of us here. We're trying to enhance our capacity for effective governance and long-term sustainability, as well as position each and every one of us to drive change towards inclusive, conservative, and equitable resource governance. So in essence, we are gathered here today to ensure that we are able to make a change through our storytelling, platforms and our advocacy. And we can do that much more because it's a tech world, right? There's a lot of digital transformation going on. So it's very important that every civil society organization is equipped with the necessary skills to be able to meet up with the pace of, the changing society, the changing world. So we are here today to be part of that change, and we're going to be trained as much in that line with our various inspiring storytellers that we have, and some of our guests that will also be speaking, as well as the convener of this program. So we're going to get right into it in a few minutes. Thank you all once again for joining in, and you're all very much welcome to the program of today. So we're going to go next to the icebreaker, just so that we can familiarize ourselves. And just like the essence of the icebreaker is for the words to break the ice, it's also important that we just get more comfortable with ourselves. So we're going to get straight into the icebreaker, and it's the game of raise your hands if you have ever. So I think you can do that with one of the icons. I think Zoom has the icon where you can actually do a reaction of raising up your hands. So if I ask the question, you can raise up your hands in the chat box, and we'll see you and we'll acknowledge if you have done that or if you haven't done it. So the first question is raise your hands if you've ever shared a climate related story on social media, even just a repost. So let's see who the real activists are. Social media also has a very big role to play. So I see Godfrey, Tembo, Jonathan. Yes, very, very good. It's very good that we engage social media as much as possible to be able to continue this advocacy. So yes, I see a lot of people raising up their hands. Yes, I'm seeing. Okay, yes, I see you all. Okay, that's great. Let me open my chat box so I can see very well. Okay, I see Jolis Berminga, Nodubu Kosti. Please pardon me in case I don't pronounce your name correctly. I might not be able to get everyone's name right. But yeah, I see a couple of you, and that is very amazing. I'm very glad that we are all very much involved in this, even on social media. Okay, so we'll go to the next question now. Oh, it's not a question, it's part of the game anyways. So the next one is raise your hand if you've used video, animation, or reels to talk about an environmental issue. So let's know if you have any content, you have put out the content there on social media to actually publicize and sensitize people about environmental issues. All right, I see Winnie. Oma, I see Gideon, I see Olga, and I see Anastasia. All right, okay, on YouTube. That's wonderful. Yes, on YouTube. So let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Seems like it's the same people responding. Let's get everyone participating as much as possible. So yes, I see Mamo Sway. Please again, pardon me in case I don't get your name correctly. I really apologize for that. Okay, I see Claire in Wira as well. All right, all right. So I see we have some very true activists here, but we're not done. We'll keep going to find out who the real activists are. So the next one now is raise your hand if you've taken a picture of pollution, deforestation, or a beautiful nature scene, to inspire action. So for instance, maybe you were walking down on the street and you saw something that shouldn't have been. Did you actually pause to take a picture and to put it out on social media and say, hey, this is what's going on? We need to draw attention to that. So let's see your hands up, and it will be good to also signify so that we know what you're doing. We know which one you have done. So if you raise up your hands, you can also signify the one that you have done in case you're not in line with what we're talking about. So yeah, I see Fiston, I see Mamosweu. Um, okay, that is a very good one. Very, very important as well, so that, you know, we don't just go on the streets and see things that are not meant to be and we walk past it. It's also our responsibility as advocates to, show the world what's going on out there in various communities. I see Dala Jirai, very good work there. Please let's ensure we all have our mics muted. I'm not sure, but I can hear. Okay, yeah. So please let's ensure we all have our mics muted so there are no disruptions.
Tony, your mic is muted. We can't hear you at all.
Oh, I apologize. All right, okay, apologies for that. Okay, so let me repeat what I said before. Thank you for that. So I said that the next one now is to raise your hands if you ever felt unsure if your climate message was reaching the right audience. So for instance, if you posted a video on YouTube and you got just 5 views, a lot of us might feel discouraged, and you would wonder if you're actually taking the right approach. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. So let's see our hands up. Okay, I see Winnie. Winnie, thank you so much. All right. I'm seeing Winnie consistently. So yes, I see Ali Nafe also. Yes. So it's some of the things that happen to us, when you're in the space and you probably don't get as much reach as you expect. You might feel unsure. So let's see the hands. Let's keep it coming. We have Paul Mulindwa as well. Okay, I see his hands up. I see Morena James as well. Okay, I see quite a number of us actually. It's something that's very common amongst us activists. Okay, I also see. Okay, yes. So okay, I see. I'm sorry. I think there's a need for one of us to mute. Okay, to unmute and share the story. I saw that request in the chat box. So, any of us that need to do that, to unmute and to share their story. Okay, all right. So, let me pick someone. I'll just pick someone in front of me. Let me see. Okay, let me pick Matthew's Kumwenda. Can you unmute and just share your story if you don't mind, especially at the part where you probably felt uncertain about your climate activism. Maybe it was a barrier you faced or you didn't achieve the amount of reach that you expected. Do you mind sharing your story with us, Matthews Kumwenda, if you can hear me? Okay, I'm not sure if Matthew is with us, so I will pick. Okay, I've seen Winnie has been quite consistent, so let me call on
Yes, I
Winnie.
can hear you now.
Okay, Matthews, is that you? All right. Okay, do you mind sharing your story with us?
Okay, fine. First of all, I should introduce myself. I'm Matthews
Of
Kumwendo, the
course.
founder and CEO of Green for Africa, based in Malawi. My first video was on YouTube. That was 2021. I was sending a message on how we can reuse the plastic waste and also recycle the plastic waste and also cleaning the market areas. Unfortunately, I want also to reach more than 1,000 people, but on YouTube, I just get one like and
Mm,
10 views. So I just discouraged to say, sure, wow, it's too bad
yeah.
for this one. But I have passion on what I really want to do and also what I want to be in the future. That's why I just still try. Then few months from the day I posted the first video, the second one at least got almost 200 views. So I said,
Mm.
wow, now the message is going high and high. So we should not be discouraged with the people viewing our videos or some posters in social media, but focus on what we are doing. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. That's such an inspiring story from Matthews. And he gave the message and he gave the lesson. It's to not give up. If there's anything that's very important in this space, is to actually be consistent because most people usually might not be interested at first when they see, oh, plastic. Most people feel it's not their business, it's not that important, except if it's gossip or entertainment. But by the time we consistently put it out in their face, then they might stop and think, okay, I'm seeing this thing consistently. Why? And then in that moment, they might actually decide to take a pause and, just look at it. And then, from there, you get the reach that is needed. So thank you so much, Matthews, for sharing that very inspiring story. I really enjoyed that story. I think I actually also want one more person to share their story as well. I called on Winnie before, so I don't know if Winnie can hear us and if she can share her story as well. Winnie
Uh,
Oma, I hope that's correct.
Thank you
Or you
so
can correct
much.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, so mine happened last year during the global week of like we were running some campaigns on phasing out fossil fuels and also about tax justice, and we realized that people are not engaging. So we were like, is it that people really don't understand issues to do with climate finance, issues of tax justice, issues of phasing out fossil fuels? So we kept on running the campaigns almost 1 week. There was no engagement, but we kept on going. So what we did is that we joined other organizations to use the kind of posters that they were using, and we realized that maybe the posters that we were posting before, that we were using before, were not so much interactive. So we became more creative and people started engaging, and we also started being noticed by other organizations that were also running the campaign, and they started sharing our content. And so that is how it went ahead, and at least we gained some kind of attention to our social media followers.
Mm,
Yeah,
all
so
right.
that is
Thank you.
what happened.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. A lesson to learn there as well. If one strategy doesn't work, you try another strategy. So thank you so much, Winnie. So we'll go to the next question, and I think we just might also pick someone else to share. from the next one. So this one, it says, raise your hands if you have been inspired to act because of someone else's climate story. So probably you know, it was a story of another community that actually made you decide to be an activist. So I want us to raise our hands if you are doing what you're doing because of someone else. So let's raise our hands. Raise your hands if you have been inspired to act because of someone else's climate story. So let's see our hands. Let's see the hands coming, and then let's have one or two of us share that story that actually moved you to go into this journey of climate activism. All right, I see Winnie again. Winnie Uma, very, I can see you're quite active in every sector. That's really, really wonderful. Okay, so let me see. Any other person? Raise your hands if you have been inspired to act because of someone else's story. Anybody else? Okay, I think I see. Okay, I think I see Ibukun Oluwa Ajayi. I hope that's a recent hand raise. Okay, Ibukun Oluwa Ajayi, do you mind sharing the story with us? The story that inspired you to go into climate activism, you know, through someone else. So you have the floor.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, we can hear you. You can go on.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's a
Hello, good
pleasure to be with
afternoon.
us. My name is Bukunlo Ajayi. I'm activist, a sustainability enthusiast, and I'm also a teacher leader. So, actually the project lead for Women Against Plastic Nigeria, and I can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you clearly.
Yes, I said, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you,
All right.
Ibukun
Okay.
Oluwa.
So I'm actually the project lead for Women Against Plastic Nigeria, and that was an imported project. I met with Dr. Anna Kaziakstia in a seminar. All right, all right. I met with Dr. Anna, the founder of Women Against Plastic. All right. So she's the founder of Women Against Plastic, and she started it in Thailand. So we met during a session at Lagos Business School, and I reached out to her. I really like what you're doing over there, and I wanted to see how I could be a part of it. And she was like, okay, these are some of the initiatives she's working on. And from there, we started off. And to date, we've been able to train over 50 women on plastic and sustainability in Nigeria. We've had 3 trainings online. We've been able to also establish recycle clubs, and you know, a lot of things that were bred out of that movement was as a result of her work on Women Against Plastic. We handled the cleanup of plastic waste, and we've been able to collect over 500, half a ton of plastic waste from Chocolate Party in 2023 and 2024. And we're also doing tons of other things. So many times you see, when you see someone's story and it's powerful, it can actually inspire you to take a step and to do, you know, something amazing also. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ibukun Oluwa. Let me also call one more person. I see Mustafa Lahoriri. I hope that pronunciation is correct. So yeah, Mustafa, you can also share the story that inspired your activism with us. You have the floor, Mustafa.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Mustafa Lahwiri from Algeria. I'm the chairman of the National Committee for Environment, Forest, and Climate. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, yes. We have many initiatives in our nation, Algeria. I have such uh, uh, supporting immigrants. We are living in Algeria. We are supporting them, and in addition to forest, we have a unique and special brigade of combating wildfire of forest, of natural forest in our country. Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mustafa. I think
Yes.
your audio was breaking a bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right. Although your audio was breaking a bit, I couldn't really get the story, but I heard a bit of it. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating in that section. We are going to move on to the next part. We have, which is our guest speaker, to come and take us a lot deeper into this and to, inspire us as well in all the skills that we need. So thank you once again to everyone that participated and shared their story with us. So our guest speaker for today is Dorcas Muturayo Ajasa. And I'm just going to speak a bit, just read out her bio so that we can have a bit of understanding of who she is and what she does. So Dorcas Ajasa is a powerhouse eco-creative strategist and a transformational leader in sustainable development, creative innovation, and climate action. With over 9 years of transcultural experience, she designs impactful programs and social enterprises that merge business strategy with circular economy principles, empowering over 1,700 children, youths, women through creative media and environmental education. Dorcas has collaborated with 13 plus leading brands and led projects backed by UNICEF, the Clara Lionel Foundation, and the Open Society Foundation, impacting 240 plus young farmers and 400 plus business owners across Africa. And as the Director of Media and Communications at UNSDSN Youth Nigeria, she champions youth-led SDG solutions, recognized as a top 15 Start-Upper finalist by Total Energies 2024, a UNSDDN Nigeria Outstanding Leader, and a top 50 Impact Maker by the 234 Foundation. Dorcas is reshaping the future of climate action through creative storytelling, circular economy innovation, and community leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome and give a round of applause for our guest speaker for today, Dorcas Muturayo Ajasa. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Hello, Dorcas, can you hear me? It seems like your network is breaking. I don't know if you can hear me. Yes, we can hear you a bit, but we can't hear you clearly. It seems like the network connection is not very strong.
Oh,
Can you hear me? Yeah, hello, Dorcas. Can you hear us? Okay, I think you can proceed. Probably as you speak, it would get clearer. Hello, Dorcas. Are you still in the meeting with us? I don't know if you might need to move locations or something. We can see you, but we cannot hear you. So I don't know if you need to move locations to probably somewhere you can get a clearer network.
I'm
Or
speaking
probably
already.
Okay, so
you're
I think
breaking.
Dorcas,
Yes.
please, I think you should turn off your video. Let's have just your audio.
Yeah,
I think it will be better.
probably. Yes.
Hi, Dorcas. I think have you tried turning off your video so that we have just your audio, or you can join in. You can leave and join in again with just your audio. I think it would be better. So I don't know if Dorcas can hear us, but if you can hear us, you can leave the call, join in again, and then just join in with your audio. So, but in the meantime, we apologize to everyone for the little technical glitches that we're having right now. So we are hoping that we would have it fixed in the next few minutes so we can get in properly. So just be patient with us, and thank you so much for your patience as well. And of course, the icebreaker session was really lively. I love the fact that everyone had quite interesting stories to share. So just give us a few minutes, and we apologize for the delays. So yes. So Dorcas is just rejoining us. So I'm hoping that um we would not have any network issue when she joins back. Okay, so Dorcas, if you can hear me, I'll be making you a co-host right now. So if you can hear me, please just leave your video turned off and try just your audio. Let's see. So can you hear me? Okay, yes, I think
Confirm
we
your.
are. Oh, thank God we are on track. Okay,
All
so
right.
I think we can continue. So Tony, over to you, please.
All right. Thank you so much. My apologies to everyone about that technical issues.
Sir, please, if you can hear us clearly, someone is saying in the chat box that the audio quality is not good. So if you can hear us clearly, please just give us a like or something in the chat box. You can react or give
I
us.
can hear you clearly. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. Thank you so
Perhaps
much.
it's from the person's end. But if the general audience, if you can hear us, please let us know in the chat box that you can hear us clearly.
Okay. So should I proceed?
Okay, yes, please, you can. So just you can continue and I'll share your slides right away. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you to all change makers who are patiently listening from across Africa. And once again, thanks to Green Growth Africa for being passionate about sharing knowledge, expertise, and tools with change makers who are intentional about solving the problems of climate change and its impact across Africa. Today, I'm going to be sharing on telling stories driving change. Of course, as a change maker, while you are doing the work, you need to be able to tell the story such that the people you are trying to impact and even those who are funding your project are able to relate with whatever you are doing. And for today, though this topic or this concept is quite broad, but I'm going to summarize through in a way that will help everyone to take something tangible from this webinar. We have the outline where yes, I'm going to share about key themes, why storytelling, understanding your audience, types of climate stories at work. I may not be able to go through everything, but you surely have access to the slides after the webinar, so you can read in depth on telling stories and driving change. Definitely as a change maker, if you don't understand what digital storytelling is, you may be stranded regarding getting access to the tools you need, the platforms you need, and even communicating whatever you are doing with your audience. So digital storytelling is practically using digital tools such as videos, graphics, blogs, podcasts, social media posts to tell stories about what you are doing, the problem you are trying to solve in a way that is relatable using technology. And then we all know that climate action are efforts we take to combat the impact of climate change on Africa, including the mitigation, adaptation, and advocacy strategies to combat climate change. And for digital tools, we have tools like Canva, CapCuts, Anchor for podcasts, Meta Business Suits, and much more that I'm going to mention later to help you tell your story properly and ensure you're making significant impact digitally. Why storytelling? Why should we tell our stories? Storytelling is very important because it helps you humanize whatever that is going on in the community. Imagine if you've gone to the field, you've collected data, you've done the needs assessment, you have a whole lot of figures, but you are unable to communicate to your funders what those figures mean in a way that they can relate to, or even the target audience whose problem you are trying to solve in a way that they can relate to. You may be stuck in your change making. So storytelling allows you to humanize the climate crisis, and it makes people care and not just to be aware that there is a problem. It sparks action and also it intensifies African voice and realities. As a change maker, you need to understand your audience and you need to understand who you are trying to reach, what they care about, where they're hanging out digitally, are they the kind you find on Facebook, or the people you find on LinkedIn, or are they just on YouTube alone or TikTok? You need to be able to define where you can find them digitally. You also need to understand the kind of language and tone that resonates with them. Definitely, if your target audience is mainly Gen Z, then you should know the kind of language that you must fine tune for you to be that you must create and use and fine tune for you to be able to communicate with Gen Z if they are your target audience. If your Definitely founders will also be your target audience, then you should be looking at spaces such as LinkedIn for you to position yourself properly and tell your story such that you are able to share links directly to what you've been doing so far, whenever your founders request for such. Then you also need to understand what action you want them to take. Okay, definitely you want them to know about your story, but while they know about your story, what do you want them to do at the end? Is it just to know, or to also take action? Is it to join you in volunteering for the beach cleanup, or to change their behavior, or to join a climate campaign? So you need to be able to decide and understand all of this about your target audience. For the types of climate stories that work, um, there are different types of climate stories. You could center your climate stories on human beings. You could also say that, oh, I want the stories my organization will be putting out there to be focused on the solutions we are driving, or your own strategy could be before and after stories. That's stories of transformation. Okay, before we intervened in this community, this was what was happening, and after our intervention, this happened. So that's before and after stories. Then you can also use the cultural and indigenous story strategy, whereby you incorporate indigenous knowledge, local traditions, and ancestral wisdom into your storytelling. And you can also focus that, okay, for this community that we are trying to help and that we are telling stories about digitally, we are going to be using the urgency and crisis stories strategy. This works more in regions where they are prone to crisis. And then you can also use the youth and future focused stories strategy, where especially in communities where we have young change makers, youths who are passionate about action, and where you have their stories more in the work you are doing. I'd like us to pause for a moment and then understand that regardless of the diverse strategies, you can blend all of these strategies into your storytelling, such that even your human-centered story can also be solution-driven. Also, when you are trying to tell a crisis story, you can craft it in such a way that ends with hope, and you still keep your audience very much engaged. When telling climate stories, you need to consider ethics and guidelines. The fact that you have a solution, you've done your assessment, it does not mean you should take the photos and the videos and the stories about a community or about a group of persons without their consent. So in climate storytelling, you need to get informed consent from the community, the people whose videos and photos you are documenting. Also, in pushing out their stories, you need to avoid trauma exploitation. You need to avoid representing the people without dignity. For example, if it's a case in which a community in which, okay, due to lack of access to water, their women have to go that to a very long distance to get water, and maybe during that time of them going, they get to face rape, assault, or things like that. The fact that we are telling such stories does not mean you should leave aside the strengths of the people involved and just tell about their weaknesses, but you should also be able to tell about, oh, despite the fact that this is a weakness in the community, this are the weaknesses of the people involved. They also have certain and the collaborators, do your fact checks, stay true to the story, amplify local voices, don't drown them out. If you're intervening in a community, you can get even the people involved, like local people in the community, to talk about their experiences with your intervention. You can create short videos around that, and in positioning your brand online, your solution online, we are also allowing them to directly tell what's your solution, the impact your solution has made on them. So you should amplify their local voices and don't drown their voices out. Also, for areas where there could be political problems or cultural conflicts, if you need to protect identity, please do. Please do. Um, Please do, because it's very necessary. Then ethics must never be an afterthought. It is the foundation of authentic, respectful, and sustainable storytelling. When you have ethics in mind from the beginning, it even guides you in ensuring you pay attention to the details of your storytelling right from the time you are trying to map out your projects, implement your project, and do your monitoring and evaluation. Then, regarding free or low-cost digital tools for climate storytelling, I understand that we are CSOs and we may not even have a budget for digital storytelling. So how do we go about that in a world where everyone has to be online? Yes, there are actually tools that allows CSOs to access templates and various excellent offerings for them to push out their stories online. We have the organizational and collaboration tools, including the Google Workspace, Docs, Slides, Sheet, and Drive. You can use the free version for non-profits. You can also use Notion and Trello to organize your storytelling projects, for brainstorming, for content calendar and research. Then for writing, you can also use ChatGPT for your research and content writing. There is the free plan of ChatGPT, so you can leverage it so well. Also, Google Space, you can leverage docs, slides, and sheets for your writing, for editing, and also for presenting your content calendar for each month or even months ahead. For also under content creation, you can, especially design and video creation, you can use Canva, you can use CapCut, you can use InShot. Canva allows you to create both designs and videos. CapCut and InShot also allows you to create very good videos. For Canva, if you want to upgrade from a free version to a pro version as a CSO, if you're a properly registered CSO, you can apply for Canva for non-profits. You have to submit a document and go through that process on the Canva platform, but it's something simple that you can actually go through. So the main thing is that you should be registered properly, and then you'll be able to access the Canva Pro version as a non-profit. Then if for your organization, if what you are focused on is, okay, we want to be doing podcasts, then you can use Anchor by Spotify. You can use Audacity to edit your recordings, and you keep going on doing impactful work for through digital storytelling. Then for visuals, also for your photos, I'm very sure nobody wants to be scrolling through boring photos. Like, nobody wants to pause while scrolling and view boring photos most of the time. So you need to put very sharp and clear pictures out there, you can always use Snapseed basically to edit your photos. You can also explore other editing tools, but Snapseed is very basic and easy to learn. Then, if you want to publish stories, yes, you can use the social media platforms. If you are particular about thought leadership for your organization, then you can use Medium, Substack, LinkedIn newsletter. Then for your social media platforms, if you like to schedule ahead, you can use the buffer or YouTube free plan for you to schedule content across all your platforms. Each social media platform also allows you to schedule content like LinkedIn. So you can also leverage that. But if you like something that allows you to do it from a platform, then you can go for buffer or YouTube. Then for your links in bio, you can use Linktree to manage your links in bio. I've mentioned over 10 tools already, and you may be wondering where you start from, like where you can start from. So I'll encourage you that you should not be overwhelmed by these tools, but you can start with one or two, then master them. Ensure you master one or two tools, and then after mastering, you scale up to the next two tools, then the next two tools, then the next two tools. Selecting the right platforms to drive different climate storytelling goals. Of course, as an NGO or an association, you must have a goal for your climate storytelling. Are you just there to educate and inform people? Okay, problem there is a problem, and then this is the kind of education you need to get about that problem, and these are the things you must continually do. Or you're just here to raise awareness that, oh, in a region their water is always muddy. Or you want to build community on a platform, or you are on a platform just to attract the funders. Or we know that Total Energy is active on this platform, and we want to be able to attract them to what we are doing, so that eventually when we push out for funding, would be in a good position to get their funds. Or you just want to mobilize youth. So various platforms allows you to achieve your goals. For raising awareness, although all of these platforms can allow you achieve all of these goals actually. Some people have been able to raise funds through storytelling on Facebook. So though it's not very common, but don't underestimate the power of Facebook. I know some will say Facebook is for older demographics or maybe family, but Facebook works for some people. So just you may strive to just be present, like actively. Then best format for raising awareness, you can use reels. Yes, I mentioned something about target audience, you understanding your target audience. In this age, people don't want to, not everybody wants to be reading long posts, long articles. So you can use reels, short reels, or summarize infographics to raise awareness about an issue. You can also use articles, videos, webinars to educate and inform. LinkedIn allows you to use video feature and even webinar feature, so you should leverage it. Then for you to build community via WhatsApp or Telegram or Facebook groups, you can use chats, polls, and voice notes. For you to attract funders, you can use LinkedIn. If as an NGO, you can also invest in having a website of your own, so that you're able to track metrics and also establish your authority as a brand. Because funders can be particular sometimes about registered organizations having a website. So you can invest in that. Then you can also use data-driven post reports. Then if you are trying to mobilize youths, you can set up challenges, kits, or free gifts, such as free gifts like maybe a mini book, an ebook, something like that. Things that people can easily download to mobilize them for action. Again, I would say based on everything you have heard. You can start with 2 or 3 platforms. You don't have to start with, after this meeting, after this webinar, you don't have to just go and open all the 4 of them, but you have to create a strategy and decide, okay, I'm starting with LinkedIn and Instagram, and then this will be my strategy, and my organization will stay consistently on it. Then in crafting a compelling climate story, there is a strategy. You don't just wake up and say, oh, I want to be able to mobilize people. You can be successful by accident in mobilizing like and engaging the thousands of people you aspire to reach via social media, but you can also follow a strategy that has worked over the years for your articles, or like whatever, in whatever format you're trying to present. I'm very sure you must have a script. So there's what we call the hook, body, and call to action, easy steps. Hooks are basically the first line people see when they see your content online, the first thing people hear. So you must make it attention grabbing, like attention grabbing. For example, do you know plastic waste is choking our rivers right here in possibly in Lagos? Or could you can say that 10,000 students just lost access to quality education because floods destroyed their classrooms and something like that. People are passionate about like children, people have emotions towards things like that. So definitely not everybody will scroll through such a post, but people will definitely pause to see, oh, where did that happen? Especially when you are enjoying like access to quality education, access to a clean environment, and you are surprised to see that somebody somewhere is not enjoying access to such. So your hook, your first line, your first speech, your first line majorly must be attention grabbing. It could be a question, a surprising fact, or a picture. Then we have your body and your call to action. So for your body, you can explore the STAR method, which is basically telling us what the situation is, the task, and then also mentioning the your intervention and then the results that you obtained after intervening. Then you must put a strong call to action like for every content you put out there. And CTA basically means that what do you want them to do after reading your post or after watching your video? Is it join us this Saturday to clean the rivers and protect our future, or follow us more, or share this post with your friends? Whatever, it depends on the goal you are trying to achieve for your social media campaign. So please ensure you have a goal and then use a strong call to action. Also, it's very important to measure the impact of your stories. I'm going to be running now because I'm trying to check the time. You also need to measure the impact of your stories, because measuring the impact of your stories allows you to understand the extent to which you are making impact and what you can improve over time. It also allows you to demonstrate value to your funders and partners. Imagine if you are able to tell your funders that, okay, in year 1, we're able to reach 100 people, but in year 2, we improved in our digital storytelling strategies, and then we're able to reach 1,000 people. It means that for a funder, whatsoever money they are using to support you, you are actually tracking it and you are accountable for it, and they are very much willing to support people who are accountable for every money they put on the table. Then it also allows you to celebrate your milestones and it motivates your team. Set clear goals before sharing your story. Yes, because when you set clear goals, it allows you to know what metrics to track exactly. Also, you can use storytelling to attract your funders and partners, because storytelling in some applications, some funders will even tell you that, what is your story for implementing this project? Why are you so concerned about this project? Even in business, some people they say start with your story. What is your why? So you need to have a why, and have a why, use stories, align your stories with funders' priorities, demonstrate credibility and transparency, engage your funders as story participants. Yes, that's very important, especially for CSOs, whereby you already have funders who are willing to um invest in your project continuously. So maybe quarterly or twice in a year or yearly, you get to create a bulletin in which you celebrate them for what they are doing. And you can also share behind the scenes stories about how they support your action. You can invite them to events. You can highlight their role on social media to celebrate them. And you should also use multi-format storytelling to reach different funders. You should not be rigid about it. Some prefer compelling video testimonials. Some, what they want to see is mini documentaries. Like, so please, you need to study your funders and also study the kind of people they've helped in the past, what kind of stories they've supported from the past as you are trying to seek funding from them. Also, while using storytelling to attract funders, always ensure you use a strong call to action at the end of your story. Then for a quick content planning calendar, immediately after this webinar, you should, I'm very sure most, if not everybody on this webinar is already doing this. You can easily quickly plan your content for the next 1 month through this example that I've included in this slide. So you can say for Monday, we want to be sharing inspiring quotes or stories around the area of our impact work. On Tuesday, we want to be sharing tips, Tip Tuesday. On Wednesday, Workshop Wednesday, whereby you get to share upcoming events or trainings. Then Thursdays, Throwback Thursdays. Then Fridays, Feature Friday. Saturday, Social Saturday. Sunday, Summary Sunday. So you can adapt it. This is actually an example. You don't have to use it word for word, but you can adapt it. Then plan ahead for all your content calendars. Mixed formats. You don't have to say, okay, for my organization, it's just images. You can use videos, you can use text, and you can use audio also. You can also repurpose content. If you are sharing in video format to YouTube, that same story, that same content, you can turn it into an article and share on LinkedIn or via LinkedIn newsletter. You should also monitor and adjust your content and its impact on people, such that you get to know, okay, this type of content is doing well, so maybe we should use more of this type of stories or more of this type of content formats for our audience. Then always learn to collaborate, involve people, involve other organizations. Yes, you need to involve your team members, and also where necessary, you need to involve other organizations, maybe creative organizations that you see that they have the skill sets that can help your brand, your CSO to grow. So you can write to them to support you in that regard. So collaboration tips. I already mentioned collaboration. You can recognize a particular expertise that you need for your CSO, a particular creative expertise that you need, then reach out to the brand, the organization, whether a personal brand or a business brand. Then upon collaborating, always ensure you recognize and respect each other's role, establish clear goals from the beginning, and have a shared vision. Don't collaborate with people whose vision is or goals are different from yours. It can result into conflicting stories over time. So ensure it's a shared vision. Foster open communication, leverage each other's networks. You can do cross posting or online collaboration, things like that. Co-create and co-own stories. You can co-create projects, co-create campaigns, and co-own these campaigns. Build capacity together. Ensure you are investing in the capacity of each collaborator on the team. Then also celebrate and showcase success stories. Also, I mentioned about climate storytelling in crisis earlier. As a CSO, it's very important that you tell crisis stories around crisis with sensitivity, accuracy, and responsibility. The fact that the problem is really urgent does not mean you should use the facts in a wrong way. So please, the information we put out there sometimes lead to echo anxiety, and we need to ensure we are not contributing to echo anxiety in as much as we are trying to solve the problem. So moving on from this webinar, identify your climate story focus. Use the storytelling framework I shared. Leverage the free or low-cost digital tools I already mentioned. Choose the right platforms. Collaborate actively. Like look for a brand to collaborate with and ensure you are collaborating actively. You can write to them. You can get on a call with them, things like that. And even on this, like on this webinar, you can take interest in people who have the skill sets. Maybe they have a strong team. They have a team that is very strong in terms of digital storytelling. So you can actually discuss with them and they'll be willing to collaborate with you for making greater impact online. Then ensure you are measuring your impact, the shares, the comments, the likes, the direct feedback. Also for CSOs, you may not be getting all these comments and likes like big time from the beginning, but you must not let that discourage because people are watching. The truth is people are busy, but it does not mean that they are not studying your brand. So just stay consistent with showing up online. Also, keep the momentum going. You started, so no going back, no turning back. Every story you tell is a seed planted for a greener, more resilient Africa. Take action now, like take intentional action now. Your story matters and can spark the change we all want to see. I'm very sure when you follow all of these steps I've shared, you'll be able to um sh- um you'll be able to impact your community, your target audience in a greater way. You have stronger community engagement, enhanced visibility and influence. Your fundraising and your partnerships will be improved. Also, you see behavioral change and action. Um, in case what you are trying to drive online is a change in action and you're also mobilizing a community, building a community around that. So you see behavioral change and action definitely. Um, you also see sustained impacts, and you also see that what your organization has contributed to the global climate goals has improved radically. Stories are the heartbeat of change. When we share them with courage and care, we light the way to a better future. So share your stories courageously and share your stories with your heart at it. Like be intentional about your stories. Like have care in your heart for your target audience, for the community you are trying to help. And definitely you are lighting the way to a better future by doing all of this. Thank you so much for having me on this webinar. You can find me online as Dr. Mutura Ajasa. You can also email me. I'm very much online, like active on LinkedIn, so you can send me a LinkedIn connection via LinkedIn. I look forward to hearing from everyone. Time for Q&A and reflection. Thank you. So I know you've heard a lot. I can see so many people dropping various chats. Okay. So are there questions? I'd like to hear your questions and then provide answers.
Okay, Dorcas, thank you so much for the session. So I think Tony can help you with handling the questions so that you can just concentrate on answering the questions. Thank you so much. So I think Tony, you can come in from here.
All right, thank you so much, Dorcas. That was quite an insightful session. I'm pretty sure we all learned a lot on how to identify your audience, understanding the action that you want to take, types of climate stories, and of course, selecting the right platform to drive, your storytelling goals. So I have personally learned a whole lot as well, even as a storyteller, in some sense. So I would now yield the floor to each and every one of us to be able to drop our various questions. So if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat box, and then I would read out your questions to Dorcas. So I'll give about 5 minutes for everyone to drop their various questions in the chat box, and then we can relay them to our host, and I'm pretty sure she'll be able to address any more of our other questions. So yeah, it's time for question and answer session. So yes, so let's all begin to drop our questions in the chat box if we have any. So I'll just give everyone a few minutes and check the chat box and see if we have any questions. All right, so I see one question here. I think that's our first question from Ibkonlua Ajayi. He says, how can one stay motivated in telling stories when you are not getting the desired results? Very, very important and interesting question. I'm sure a lot of activists have. So that's the first question we have. Let me take a second one and then we can have Dorcas address it. So the first one is, how can one stay motivated when telling stories and they're not getting desired results? And then the second question is, how do you approach a multicultural and a multi-region community? How do you approach a multicultural and multi-region community? So those are the two questions. Okay, and I have another one here that says, I want you to highlight a little bit on collaboration. Okay, so she spoke a bit about collaboration. So one had to highlight. Okay, so Dorcas, so we'll yield the floor back to you, and you can just address those three questions and we'll proceed further.
Thank you so much. So the first question regarding you're not getting the results you desire, what should you do? Okay, it's very essential to first of all ask yourself, why am I even showing up online? After asking such question, then you need to possibly consult with somebody who has experience in terms of storytelling strategies to create a strategy that is specific and that can work in your own context as a brand, as an organization. And also that just shows that you need to change your strategy, or you need to amplify the strategy. If your consultant says, oh, yes, you are using the right strategy, you just need to be intentional about it, then you need to keep 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 at it, amplify it, don't get discouraged. Then I mentioned something about the fact that you can use things like mini docs to generate followings, and just to build that community online. So you can set up challenges or giveaways, free gifts. Ensure you package value. Let's say your organization is focused on climate education for professionals. So you can look for, okay, what is the intersection between climate education and my target audience? Let's say your target audience are young people between 18 and 35. These are people who are looking for how to develop their careers. Okay, you can make your research, do your research, use ChatGPT. I've mentioned various tools to do your research about what these people are really need, what is the intersection of climate education with career development. Then package a mini value, like a value, something valuable, a mini document a free gift, and then create a post around that to just to ensure that you are trying to drive people to your platform to engage. Also, at that instance, you can look at people who are doing well already in your industry, like in your niche, and then you speak with them about cross collaboration online for maybe a campaign that allows you to also get the attention of the kind of target audience that you strongly desire to build a community of. Then also I've mentioned about consulting with a strategist that allows you to just creates a tailored strategy for your brand. Then keep at it, like don't be discouraged, but very importantly, be willing to change the strategy if it is the strategy that is very wrong. For example, as a CSO, the fact that you're online does not mean you should not engage with other people's posts. Your social media managers, you should mobilize them to like other people's posts, to engage in people's DMs, to respond DMs, and by doing that, people actually see that you are present. Even the algorithm sees that you are present, and the algorithm will favor you. So that works. Then to the next question, please can you help me with that, moderator?
All right, yes. So the next question that we have here, he says, how do you approach a multicultural and a multi-regional community?
Okay, for a multicultural community, you need to understand their culture, like the diverse cultures. For example, okay, yes, we're in Africa, we are Africans majorly. We understand that there are certain belief systems about Africa, and possibly you're trying to reach out to people in the Kenya region and also in the Nigeria region. You need to do your cultural work, understand the contrast, and understand where they actually intersect. Then approach with curiosity always when you are trying to tell stories. Don't try to be the authority always in your relating with this kind of audience. In fact, in such case, you can use more of polls, quizzes, to just to try to understand what these different audiences, different cultures would prefer from your organization, what they'll prefer to hear from your organization. Also, you can leverage street storytelling, whereby you get to do vox pops to show your presence in a way that allows the people you are trying to communicate with in these different regions to speak up based on what they already know. For example, you can set up a campaign that involves the street boys in Kenya, street boys in Nigeria, to tell stories about the solution your brand is trying to drive out there. And then these people, you get to interview them, short vox pop session. They're actually telling you their experiences around your work in their local languages. So if you put their stories online, and then you create a strategy that allows them also to engage such stories and share with their communities, their friends, then definitely the story will change around how you engage them, and the impact will improve. Also, when you are trying to reach out to various cultures, ensure you are engaging the local heroes in those cultures, like the local leaders, the elders, the youth influencers in such regions, such that, okay, there is an existing Kenya guy that knows how to mobilize the Kenya youth online. So instead of you trying to do the work from scratch, you can definitely go through the youth influencer for that community, for that region. The next question, please. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, I'm sure that he was able to get something from what you said. We all did. So the next question is um I just want you to highlight a little bit on collaboration. I don't know. I, this might need a bit of more explanation, or can you answer that?
Yes,
Because,
I need
okay,
more explanation because collaboration is
yes.
yes. Do you mean
Yeah,
for
so Bright Moyo, if you could please expand a bit more or expatiate a bit more on what you mean by collaboration so she can answer your question, then we'll get back to you. So another question here says, do we have to be a little bit political in telling our stories? Very interesting. So that's one question. Do we have to be a little bit political in telling our stories, considering that that's what usually most people are interested in? And you spoke a bit about strategies. So that is a very interesting point there. So that's one. And then the second question is, how can I make my story reach and understood by those who are not on social media? How can I make my story to be reached and understood by those who are not on social media? And then, okay, you can answer those two
I would
first.
like
Okay.
to, yes, okay. For the question regarding political, it's a yes and a no. First of all, you need to understand what your CSO is particular about because you need to ensure you're not making a decision that may ruin your long-term vision or your long-term goal. For some organization, yes, you can be a little political, but if you know that based on your vision and your goal for your organization in the long term, going political online will not help your brand. So it's better to not be political. It, it works for not just for NGOs and CSO generally, but also for personal brands and even for businesses because you are doing change making and sometimes you don't always have to influence you don't have the power to influence your ability to move to make change not just in your local community but also in the international context. So if you already have something online that is political and that can result into a conflict or a political problem, then it could restrict you expanding your work to the international context or to the regions where the people you are trying to engage with are fully involved in. So if you know that it's going to affect your long-term vision, please avoid it. That's why focus on your why. The fact that a particular CSO is using it, is doing it online, does not mean you should get involved in it. But definitely, if your own CSO is more on, especially on policy building, you are advocating for policies, climate policies that must happen. Yes, so you can be a little political, and you should ensure that you are reinforcing the truth around politics and not a bias. Please ensure you are reinforcing the truth. For example, if it has to do with something that results into oppression, ensure that you are standing for the truth even in the face of politics online. Ensure that you are pushing for systemic change, like not just for individual success stories, not just that a politician should truly be there, not just that for a party needs to be there, but you are pushing for systemic change, the people who have the capacity to do the work and who can really push and multiply the action you're already taking. I hope that answers your question. So to the other question on collaboration, we've not heard from the person, like the specific context.
Okay, we're still waiting on that. The next question actually is how can I make my story understood by those who are not on social media? So
How
that's
to
the next question.
your story understood by those who are not on social media. So it definitely means, the way I interpret the question, it means they are not like online. So you need a strategy that allows you move focus not just on digital storytelling but also on offline storytelling. So you can use vox pops like street storytelling. You can also use local radio stations. Yes, you can use local radio stations. You can write a local radio station to support you in the work you are doing towards solving a particular problem. You can also write funders. Maybe they'll have to sponsor your being on air for that, like with that radio station. And if that is not working, you can set up your team to do street vox pops in a way that is fun and that relates with the culture of that community, and that allows you to educate the people about the problem and the solution, and empowers them to drive action, to take action. You know,
All right.
you cannot always force technology on people, especially in Africa. So you need to be able to adapt in that context.
Mm, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Dorka. So the next question we have here is from Wogari Banjure. He says, how can I build community or build a community connected organization, especially in rural areas because of many challenges. For example, civil war, lack of infrastructure, and bad culture. So with all of these challenges that they have in their community, how can he be able to build a connected organization as such in those rural areas, withstanding of this
Okay, building community. I hope I'm still online, please.
Hello, we are online.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, building a community in a situation like in amidst crisis, after identifying what the problem is exactly, that's the beginning. You need to identify what the problem is. You need to be able to involve like the people you are trying to help, the boys, the girls on the street, ask them questions, do a lot of questioning, ask questions, then find a way to okay, I'm trying to create a scenario so that everyone can understand. For example, if it's a community in which there is a lot of violence around violence violence, and then also the local leaders, like the local government, the elders in that community have also been trying to find a way to solve that, but everyone is still like trying to get through it. And you as a change maker in that community, you think you have a solution, you are doing your research, so you can design your solution, document it. That's after you must have done a lot of questioning, and like questioning people who are involved, who could have been a victim of the violence, victims of the crisis, or even people who are trying to even like fund this violence. It's a risky form of change making, so you have to be careful around it. An example is there was a time when Lagos was used to be so like some regions in Lagos used to be so bad that people are very scared of walking around that place. And the issue is that, I'm trying to find a climate related something, but right now security is kind of popping up in my head more. Well, security relates to climate action anyways. So during those times, we have, even till now, there are some situations around that, but it's not as much as that. So young boys and girls could be eyed out for guns, such that during the day robbers keep guns with them, and then during the night the robbers come to collect the guns to do their operations. So in that situation, you need to be able to find security personnel like to support your work, trusted security personnel to support your work, and such that in you're going out to ask these children questions, to ask the people who are involved in the crisis, who are like victims of the crisis questions. You don't get injured. So based on the questions, you get the feedback, the answers, you get the feedback, you develop your solution. Then at that point, you should engage the local government or the local leaders, whether it's a king that is involved in that community, and you can decide that, okay, this is what I've done. This is my study, my survey, and then I've been able to do that, and my organization wants to implement this project. But we understand that you are the leaders here, you understand your people, and you would like you to be the hero of this project. So in such a case, you can implement that the project of the local leaders, of that community leaders, and you get to tell the stories around the community leaders taking action. You get to relate it to the culture of that community. And then by doing that, most Africans like love the culture so much, and they are willing to do anything just to ensure that they are aligned to culture and that they listen to their cultural and religious leaders. So when you do that, definitely your story will be accepted. Your story and your project will be accepted.
All right, thank you so much, Dorcas. So, because we are running out of time, I will just be taking two more questions. So first of all, I have this one from Droma Charles. He says, how can we measure the impact of storytelling on awareness, behaviors, behavior change, or policy influence? So I'll take that one from Droma Charles. So I think you can address that, and we'll have the last question.
For addressing, sorry, could you please come
Okay,
again?
let me take the question again. It says, how can we measure the impact of storytelling on awareness, behavioral change, or policy influence? So how are we able to tell if our story was successful when we put it out there, especially towards the audience that we're trying to reach?
Okay, for you to do that, you need to from the beginning, you need to have a goal to build a community, and then you may set up a program that allows you to get feedback from the people who are involved in that program, and who also engage with your social media posts for educational content. So you can set up monthly surveys on okay monthly surveys on like what's the kind of content you are sharing out there. For example, if you are truly particular about this behavioral change, that's the goal your organization wants to achieve, then don't just post on social media, but move beyond posting to community building. So you can set up a funnel that also possibly leads them to a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group. Then from time to time, you can do baseline surveys, especially when you are about to introduce a new form of content and a new form of educational content to that community. You do a baseline survey, either through polls or through random requests that people should fill a questionnaire just to support what you are doing. Then after rolling out the educational campaigns, possibly after a month or 3 months, that you feel people should have gotten enough education on this, then you can now do an endline survey. Also, because you are intentional about behavioral change, you can move beyond just social media posting and just community engagement to setting up maybe an ambassadorship program or a fellowship, such that you are able to share targeted education during a targeted session, like during a strategic session that allows you to measure the number of people who are attending that session, just like Green Growth Africa webinar series, the number of people who are attending, the 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 number of people attending. Then after few months, you can send a questionnaire to them asking them to answer questions on what has changed since they joined the webinar series or the fellowship, or the ambassadorship program. And then through that, you're able to know that, okay, by introducing this kind of content to our fellowship program or our ambassadorship program or our webinar series, we have been able to help 100 people understand what biodiversity is and things like that. So you need to move beyond just posting on social media to community building. And then for community building, you can use programs like webinars, fellowships, campaigns, ambassadorship programs.
All right, thank you so much, Doka. So we'll be taking the last question. I see one question here from Jacob Mohammed. In crafting a story that is both informative and emotional, like it says, what steps do I need to take? I think she answered those questions already on the steps to take in storytelling. So I'm pretty sure the slides will be shared to us. So we can actually go back to the slides and learn from that. But she already expounded on that so that we don't take up time again. Let me look for another question. Um, so Okay, so let me pick this one from Drama Child. It says, how can we, what feedback mechanisms can we use to improve our story telling approach? I think that's also similar to the last one that she just answered as well. So okay, I think the person that, okay, Bright Moyo says, okay, the person that asked the question on collaboration, he says, I want to understand on how we can collaborate with different organizations that have similar goals on climate change. All right, so I think we will wrap up with that particular question. Just a simple advice on how CSOs, like every one of us here, and most of us here are CSOs, just tips on how we can collaborate together on our goals and be able to push towards the change that we're driving. So just a little tip on that and we'll wrap up. Thank you.
All right. As a CSO, you need to understand the kind of strengths you already have. Then also identify the weaknesses, what you need help on. And basically, after identification, you can check for organizations who are strong in that areas or who are making significant impact in that areas online. Then you can request for a live call with them or send an email, send an official letter indicating your interest and ensure you are focusing on the strengths of your collaboration. Like while you are trying to seek collaboration, ensure you are also helping them understand that, oh, if we collaborate on this, if you help us out in the areas where we are weak as a CSO, this is what you stand to gain. Like this is what your CSO stands to gain. Definitely, nobody would like to lose out on something that brings about an impact on them also positively. So most CSOs will agree to collaborate. So the main thing is identify the strength of your organization, identify the weakness, check out for organizations who don't have that weakness, and then find a way to collaborate. For example, it could be that your organization is just starting out as a small CSO, and you want to be able to build a community of young people who understand biodiversity, but you don't have experienced professionals on your team. So you can look out for an organization that have experienced professionals, write to them about what's the problem you are trying to solve and how they are collaborating with you can also make an impact on them, can increase the impact they are making. So it could be that they will be coming in as webinar speakers for your projects, for your monthly webinars, and then your organization will be concerned with mobilizing youth to attend these webinars monthly. So they are bringing the professionals, you are bringing the community.
All right. Thank you so much, Dorcas, for taking us through that session. From the speech to even the answering of questions. I'm sure we have all learned a lot. I personally have learned a lot of things that I'm pretty sure I'm going to implement as well. It's been a very insightful session so far, and thank you so much for taking our time to take us through that a lot, Dorcas. So I would now call up Precious Opara to lead us into the closing session with just a few announcements for us, and then we can wrap up from there. Thank you all so much for still staying till the end of this. So, Precious, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you so much, Tony. And Dorcas, thank you so much for that incredible session. Like, I really found it very rich. It was very engaging, and the patience with which you took and broke down all the questions. I'm so really so grateful. So, just give me a moment. I think I want to stop sharing my screen. I want to hide the meeting so that I can continue with the meeting. And yes, definitely to the audience that has stayed till this point, this is over 1 hour 45 minutes into the call. I'm really grateful that we have stayed so far. Okay, so so just for a few closing remarks. So the first thing first, Dorcas spoke a lot about monitoring your success when it comes to storytelling. And one thing that we do in our webinars, I believe you have attended a few of our webinars this year, you know that we always have our post-webinar surveys. So just right now, the link to the post-webinar surveys will be sent to the chat in the chat box. So please kindly fill in the survey. It will not take up to 3 minutes of our time. It's something that it helps us to evaluate the impact that these webinars have, and it also gives us information on what to do better in subsequent webinars. And of course, we understand that the reason we are organizing these webinars is that we are trying to ensure that CSOs have the capacity, CSOs within the green sector, within the climate, biodiversity, nature conservation sector, have both technical and institutional capacities to multiply their impact. So that is why, we said in January with position your webinar for global opportunities. Then we went in March to writing proposals. We have done about incorporating gender within our frameworks, and now we have come to digital storytelling. So the whole idea of these webinars are just to help improve your capacity as a CSO to deliver your impacts better. So we are really very grateful if you would spend just 2 minutes to fill this webinar. So I'm going to give us 2 minutes, and please, as soon as you are filling the webinars, type done in the chat box. Please, I need to see as many done in the chat box as possible. I need the encouragement. So please, let's just type done in the chat box as soon as you have filled the webinar survey that has been sent in the chat. So yes, I'm waiting for us. And yes, I'm sorry, I just realized that I did not introduce myself. So I'm Precious Opara Nozie. I manage communications, engagements, and partnerships with Green Growth Africa. So this is part of what I do. As Dorcas mentioned about, communications, a key part of communications is community building, and key part of engagement is community building. So yes. So please, I need to see our done in the chat box. Okay, so I think I'm seeing. Okay, yes, thank you so much. Thanks for everyone that's commenting discussion. And yes, please, we need to see the done. Please, quickly fill in the surveys. So can we get the survey link, just the survey link sent again so that persons can quickly see it? And then while we are also on that, we also have our green growth communities. So the green growth communities, the idea is just for green growth actors across Africa to come together, share opportunities, network, and all that. So we have these communities on WhatsApp, and we also have our Green Growth Digi Hub, which is like a full platform that we are building from scratch to function as that sort of platform for CSOs across Africa in the green sector to network, to collaborate, to share their projects, to amplify the work they are doing. So we'll be sharing the links to these things right now in the chat box. And yes, and in the meantime, also, I think We did not get to clap for Dorcas because I think we were trying to speed up and manage time. But I think while we are doing all the whole announcements, thank you so much, Jacob Mohammed. Thank you so much for filling the survey form. And please, yes, everyone go ahead and fill in the survey form right now. Thank you so much, James Morena. Thank you so much. Please, can I have, yes, thank you, Liberia, for clapping. Yes, so can I have more? Thank you so much, Ndlovu. Yes, thank you so much, Vivian. Thank you, Charles. Can we keep it coming, please? I need like maybe 5 more dons and then we move on. Thank you so much, sorry, Mambos. I'm so sorry. I think I should apologize. Okay, thank you
What
so
about
much.
what about Haji?
Okay, thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for filling the survey form. So please, yes,
Again,
let's
can
just take a
talk.
minute. Let's just take a minute to clap for Dorcas for the amazing session that she had with us. It was an incredible session. So, and as she mentioned, you can connect with her. So I believe that she would like us to, I mean, she would be glad if we connect with her. So I think that's part of the information that we are going to share in the email that will be sent after this. Thank you so much to everyone that is filling in the form. Then also, Dorcas, please, can I ask if we have your permission to share, do we have your permission to share the slides with the participants?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So yes, so Dorcas has given us the permission to share the slides for everyone that requested in the chat box earlier. So we're also going to be sharing.
Sorry.
So
More importantly, please, I'm sharing these slides. Please take action. Take action. Thank you.
thank you so much, Dorcas. So I think that maybe we could also request that as they are connecting on LinkedIn, they should go on LinkedIn as well and share what they have learned from the webinar. Yes, everyone who registered will have the link. Everyone who registered will have the slides. So don't worry about that. If you have registered, the slides will be sent to you. So for those that are sending in their emails, we'll not be able to check in the emails, but as long as you registered, we'll definitely be getting the slides across to you. So yes, finally we have should I say like a big thing that we want us to do as we close out. So far we have talked about digital storytelling, how to ensure that we are able to maximize digital tools that we have to tell stories that matter in terms of climate action. And at Green Grow Africa, we have a platform to do just that, and that is what we call the Green Grow TV. So Green Grow TV is a platform where we share interviews, we have podcasts, we have different programs. It's like a TV fully dedicated to green growth. That is to climate, to biodiversity conservation, to advancing Mother Nature. So I think Tony would have a better pitch for it than me. So Tony, can you just like quickly share with us a few things about Green Growth TV, and then yes, I think we can close from there. And I think the link to Green Growth TV should also, the link to subscribe should also come on now. So Tony, please over to you. So let me stop sharing this and you can go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Precious. So once again, I would reintroduce myself. I am Tony Ogubanjo, and I am the lead communication specialist at Gringo TV, which is why she has given the floor to me. So Gringo TV, basically, Precious has started off. It is a strategic media platform that is dedicated to, we're currently based in Abuja, Nigeria, and we're dedicated to advancing sustainability, environmental justice, and inclusive development across continents in Africa. So we do what we call solution-based journalism, whereby we ensure that, because when you look in the media space currently, most of the things that you have there are politics, entertainment, gossip, and all of that. So what we try to do is that we want to take that side of politics that people are interested in, and then find the green growth aspect of it. So for instance, when just any random thing happens to you, you might think, oh, what's the what's the green growth side of this? So the idea basically, like I said earlier, is solution-based journalism, whereby we deal with the duty bearers and the people that bear the burden. So by duty bearers, I mean people in government. So what we have on Green Growth TV, we partner with a couple of CSOs in Africa, and they let us know, especially when it comes to environmental justice. So we have discussions on environmental crimes that they face currently where they are. So in a few days, actually, we'll be having the Minister of Environment from Gambia, or of Gambia rather, on one of our programs to discuss some of the environmental crimes that the Gambia people are facing. And, we ask questions on what they are doing about it, that is, what the government is doing about it. So because when it comes to environmental issues, a lot of CSOs might not have the opportunity to go to the mainstream media because they are not necessarily always interested in that kind of thing. So we're able to give local community leaders and African CSOs, we're able to give them a voice to actually speak up about the issues that they're facing in their community, because it is as important as the politics that most people are interested in. So in a nutshell, Gringo TV is a media platform that is there to be able to amplify the voices of CSOs that are involved in climate justice, climate justice, sustainable development, and as well as a just transition. Yes, so we're also looking to ensure that because Africa needs to, as much as we're trying to grow the environment, we also need to develop our economy. So it's more of ensuring that it's a just transition and it's a secular transition from economic development, political, and the social development side of it. So, okay, so I can see on our screen, we have one of our programs on there. So like I said, so we have different topics. We talk about wildlife crimes. We also have topics, we've had discussions rather on environmental crimes. This particular one that you can see right now is on the issue of carbon colonialism. So we also try to go deep into some of these policies that we have. We don't just take the policies when they give it to us. We actually try to analyze them. So there's also a lot of data analysis that goes into this, and we engage as many CSOs rather, as possible. So that's the bits about what Gringo TV is about. And I would also encourage each and every one of us as CSOs, if you have certain crimes, environmental crimes especially, or just certain issues going on in your community, you are very welcome to reach out to us. If you want to feature on our programs, even if you're not in Nigeria, we can also host you virtually to talk about whatever issue is going on in your community. So we welcome each and every one of us to actually be a part of this very important conversation. And so we would also put the link probably in the chat box, or it will be sent to your emails, either way. So you can also subscribe to Gringo TV, and we can continuously support each other and drive the change that we're pushing for Africa as a whole. So that's about it for me. Thank you so much for the platform to speak a bit about what we do. And I think I would yield the floor back to Precious to close for us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tony, for the introduction. So while we are getting, so the link to subscribe to Green Growth TV has been sent earlier. But yes, so I think it has been sent again. So you can just subscribe right now to Gringo TV to get the latest on what we are doing. So yes, finally, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Thank you for your patience. We had over about 70 people that joined the call, and I think that's really awesome. As a persons so live streamed on your YouTube, rather, that is on Gringo TV on YouTube. So thank you so much to everyone that joined, both in Zoom and via Gringo TV on YouTube. And thank you so much to our moderator, Tony. Thank you so much, Dorcas. That was again a very, very rich and in-depth session, and we are really grateful that you took us through that. And when I first saw the slides, let me confess, since we're almost done, when I first saw the slides, I was like, wow, when are we going to finish today? But it was incredible that you passed on so much, like literally you passed on so much and still was able to maximize time. So I think I must mention that. So thank you so much, Dorcas. I'm sure that everyone can testify that this
A
was really
pleasure.
thank you. And I don't know if you want to come back, we'll be very glad to have you. Okay, so yeah, so thank you so much everyone for joining. And like we all know, this is a webinar series, so it's not going to end here. So hopefully we are going to have another edition next month. So we are going to also pass the information across to you when that's available. And of course, for every other information that we want to pass across, to be sent to us via email and within our WhatsApp community. So thank you so much for everyone that stayed till now. Finally, like our final tradition, it's time to take our group photo. So if you can just on your cameras so that we can take a group photo. So just turn on your cameras, give us a big smile. Kato, I really love your smile. That's really a huge smile. Yes, Vivian, I can see you. Aisha, I can see you. Jonathan, I can see you. David, I can see you. Yes, let's have more faces. Let's have more faces. Okay, so yes, I think we have faces
So
now.
you watch out. I'm greening my environment.